Just put into words everything they've done. They just literally, they gave me my life back, which I thought was completely gone.
Nicole Revolt is a medical assistant at the Cedar Surgical and Kansas Vein Center.
Cedar Surgical, this is Nicole. May I help you?
Looking at her today, it's hard to believe she was ever in an abusive relationship. But like a lot of things in life, looks can be very deceiving.
I feel like I've changed, did a 180, because I don't recognize the person that I was back then at all.
What did Harbor House do for you?
Oh, they did a lot. They provided me with security. They provided me with, gosh, so much. Just giving me time to be able to get back in touch with who I was, because I had lost so much over all those years that we were together.
Years of both mental and physical abuse. Nicole says Harbor House gave her the foundation she needed to break that cycle.
It gave me time to rebuild my life and rebuild a support system and get back in contact with family and just be able to provide a life for my kids. And it just kind of held me for a while until I was able to do that and take that first step out on my own.
We'd love to show you Harbor House, but even we don't know where it is. Its location kept secret to protect the women and children who need its protection. The first time Nicole even heard of Harbor House, police brought her there after a domestic dispute with her now ex-husband. At that time, she only stayed a few days.
And I made the decision to leave. I wasn't ready to leave fully, and I went back. You tended to just hold on to those really good times, but I think it just got to a point where I was holding on for the kids, and I didn't want to seem like a failure to my family either. I wanted to try to make it work. I guess when women go back, they're doing it out of a place of love.
Just 2 months later, she came back to Harbor House. This time she was ready to make the break for good.
The whole time I thought that my situation was different, that it would change and he would change and I could do it.
But she finally realized she couldn't.
Reasons why I stayed, there's hundreds. I mean, financially, he took everything from me. I had no car, I couldn't keep a job, I wasn't allowed to have any money. He alienated me from my whole family and friends. And there was even a point in time where it was me and my son at the time, and moved us across the United States to Baltimore, Maryland, where I knew nobody. And I was pretty much trapped there for 3 years with him. And
there were a lot of other reasons she stayed too.
You know, not wanting to be a failure, not wanting my parents or family and friends to say I told you so. You know, you want to prove people wrong. There's just so many reasons why people stay, and you know, you really can't understand it unless you're there.
The abused person isn't the only one who suffers from the decision to stay. The people around her do too. Some of her family members got tired of her leaving and going back over and over, again and again.
Because they've been there, they've seen that. They're like, okay, here we go again. And I'd pretty much been cut off by my family, and I knew that, and so I felt pretty much alone.
How many chances should we give a woman to leave?
As many as she needs. You know, I don't think any one of us haven't made mistakes and wrong decisions in our life, and God doesn't care how many times you mess up. He's going to always be there, and so why do we judge? You know, people make mistakes, and I think you should be able to be forgiven.
That's why Harbor House is so important. While family members can get tired of watching someone make the same mistake over and over again, Harbor House is therefore on her 7th or even her 47th try.
I think it just took time. It took time for me to build up enough courage to get strong enough. It's easier for me now looking back or looking from the outside in, and I'm sure it was pretty apparent to everybody else in my life, but to me at the time, it wasn't. I mean, I knew what was going on, but the whole picture, I had no idea.
Nicole says she often looks back and tries to figure out how she could have ever gotten into that situation in the first place.
I came from a good family. My parents have been married almost 40 years. They didn't beat us. There's no alcoholics, drug addicts in my family. and they had a good marriage, and I often wonder, why me?
What would you say to other women out there that are maybe in your circumstance to encourage them to seek help from someplace like Harbor House?
I don't think that there's a lot that I can say. Like I said, there was plenty of people in my life that knew what was going on, and they had their judgments, and they would say, how could you be with him? You keep going back to him, and until they're ready, but they've just got to know that their situation's not different. It's not going to change, and once he hits you, he has the ability to do it again, and he will.
The second time Nicole came to Harbor House, she ended up staying almost 5 months. While there, Nicole was assigned to an advocate that helped her work through a lot of issues, set goals, and let her know about other programs or assistance she qualified for. She also attended budgeting classes and met with a counselor.
What helped me a lot was just seeing the other women and hearing their stories and knowing you're not alone. Harbor House just provided me with those skills and just, being able to take a look at my life and seeing what I needed to change. And they did it all, like I said, without judgment. There was just a lot of compassion, and it was more of a friendship.
Unlike some shelters, Harbor House keeps adults and children together.
I think mothers are just as much support for their kids as the kids are for the mothers, and they're my lifeline. They're my reason for living, and if I hadn't had them with me, I don't know that I would have had the will to do everything that I've done.
Explain to me the Nicole then and how she's different from the Nicole now.
Nicole then was very quiet, very timid, afraid, scared all the time. I never spoke up for myself. If I was in a room full of people, I'd be the one in the corner by myself. And today I'm just so much stronger. I know I can do whatever I set my mind to.
Let's get this one first. Let's play this one first.
Even her children have benefited from their experience with Harbor House. Counselors treat the entire family, so everyone leaves healthier, happier, and stronger, with a chance at a better future. Statistics show children who grow up in abusive families have a better chance of ending up in an abusive relationship themselves.
What differences do you see now in your children now as opposed to when you were back in that relationship?
Oh, it's night and day. Just so much more free and loving, and just allowed to be a child. They weren't allowed to be children.
So then we can't let it get off.
Yeah, and you can only kick it once. Don't hit her.
I'm trying to be a good role model for my kids. Back then I wasn't at all, and I want my daughters to see what they can have and what they can do.
You're not together. My job.
I love my life right now. My kids are great. I never expected to be where I am today. Now I have my own home and a great job and my own car, and you can do it too, because I'm nobody special.
I disagree. I think Nicole is incredibly special. Not everyone who goes through what she did manages to come out on top. Nicole says no matter how low you may think you have fallen, there's always a way to dig back out of it. And she's so grateful that one night, so many years ago, police officers brought her to Harbor House. In fact, she says Harbor House has given her so much, she now wants to return the favor.
I just think I'm at a point now where I'm ready, and I want to start to volunteer, and if anything that I can do can help somebody else, and that's the least that I can do to give back to them, because like I said, they provided me with so much, and they were my safety net.
Nicole says going through something like this makes you extremely grateful for everything you have.
There's been so many blessings in my life, from Harbor House to Stepstones to my job, my family. I'm happy to say that, my relationship with my mom and dad and all my extended family is back. And I think it's better than it ever was, I mean, growing up.
If a place like Harbor House hadn't existed, where would you be right now?
I might not be here. If Harbor House wasn't here, I don't know. I don't know if I would have had the courage to leave or to, I'd say, go crawling back to my family and admit I was wrong. I might still be where I was.